Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Premier League predictions with me and Mikey on this weird split in half. We're calling this round 21B. Yes, Mikey?
Yeah, this is part two, Ben. Part one was fantastic. Part two, it's got a lot to live up for.
It wasn't fantastic from my point of view because you got the win in part one, didn't you? And I'm going to use the word pathetic because I'm using it about myself. Only got one correct outcome. I don't really feel you should be proud that you beat somebody so pathetic, though. So, any victory lap from you or gloating today?
No, if Newcastle would have held on for that 2-1 win against Man City, it would have been
Yes.
convincing, wouldn't it? But as it turned out, they didn't even get a draw, so I was way off. But yeah, haven't covered ourselves in glory, Ben, but we go again.
And all our analysis, I thought, oh, it's too reductive to just wax on about Kevin De Bruyne. But we were right again, weren't we? There we go. Let's dive in straight away. And we're going to cover three of our favourite things on this first game. We're going to cover Crystal Palace, Mikey's favourite team. And I get to talk about match bingo and a freebie because just quickly, Mikey, this weekend on match bingo, if I can sort my light out, you can play Arsenal Palace for free. And who doesn't like free? Matchbingo.co.uk/BBFC to say we've sent you. Download the app. It's absolutely free to play. And Mikey is about to tell you who is going to win the Ian Wright Derby.
Yeah, I don't know how I've gone from being a Brighton fan to a Palace fan in the matter of a few weeks, Ben, but here we are. Arsenal.
That's just a measure of my banter, isn't it?
We can't talk about Arsenal without talking about their wasted opportunities, which is ironic, really, because we're talking about the Ian Wright derby. There's a man that didn't really waste many opportunities at all. So, Ben,
No.
in there, I'm going straight in with a stat early on here. In their last two home games, Arsenal have had 48 shots without scoring. So let that one
48.
sink in. 48. Yeah, that's across two games, that including the FA Cup game
So
against
is
Liverpool, which
this
was ridiculous.
individual players missing badly or the type of chances they're creating against teams defending? Why is this?
Well, they definitely wasted some good opportunities against Liverpool in the cup, but I had a little look at the big chances created table, and they're only down in eighth, which suggests that they're probably not getting enough decent openings for a team that are taking so many shots. Um, on the other hand, they don't have a huge amount of injuries and absences for this game. Alexander Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus should be available for the visit of Palace, who are going to be missing Jordan Ayew, who's away at the Africa Cup of Nations, and the much talked about Michael Elise is injured again. They don't have a terrible record at the Emirates. Had a couple of draws there in recent years. They won there under Hodgson in April 2019. I had a quick look at the team from that day, and none of the players who played in that game will feature on Saturday. But Ray Lewington will be there in his shorts, just like he was in
Yeah.
2019. They had a good win against Brentford in their last league game a few weeks back, and I guess Palace will see Arsenal away as a little bit of a free hit, whereas Arsenal will see it as a must win. So all the pressure's on them, especially their forwards, due to the difficulties they've been having in front of goal. Palace are never the same team without Ayew or Elise for different reasons. So I think this one's going to be pretty comfortable for the Gunners. I'm predicting a 3-1 home win.
Well, everything you were saying was telling me low scoring Arsenal win, and then you said it's going to be comfortable at the end. So I'm glad you've done that because I'll go for a low scoring Arsenal win then. How does the song go? 1-0 to the Arsenal. We'll go for them just to scrape through and end their losing run. And if I get my notes in the right place, we will move on. And we've got to talk about FFP, your favourite thing, Mikey. It's Brentford. Oh, no, we're going to talk about Ivan Toney. It's Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. You can talk about both.
Yeah, so this is possibly the biggest game of the match week and a chance for both sides to put a bit of breathing space between themselves and the bottom three. Particularly important, of course, for Nottingham Forest, who might have a points deduction in the near future. We don't know. But either way, whichever way you look at it, this is a huge game for both teams. Brentford will want to forget all about Christmas 2023. They'll hope that the return of Ivan Toney finds them some New Year solutions. With Vista away with DR Congo, Brian Burmo injured, I feel like there's a good chance that he might even start. which might seem ridiculous considering how long
Mate, not only is he
he's
starting,
been.
he is scoring all day long in this game.
He's such a difference maker for Brentford, isn't he, Ben? Since they've been in the Premier League, ignore how well he did for the Championship, where he carried them out of the Championship. He scored 32 times in 68 Premier League games. He's also had 9 assists. He's the talisman, isn't he? Forest, they've had a bit of a new manager bounce under Nuno Espirito Santo. They ended 2023 with back-to-back wins. They do have 6 players at the Africa Cup of Nations. But I guess on the laws of averages, with the number of players that they have, that sort of thing is going to happen. They also have a really, really poor record in London recently. Obviously, they've got a new manager now, so that might all change. But for that reason, and Ivan Toney being back, I am going for a 2-1 home win. And I think you're going to join me, Ben.
Of course, I'm going to join you. Absolutely. I want a bonus point for this one, Mikey. So I'm going to call an Ivan Toney hat trick.
Okay.
And that's the bit, doesn't it? 3-1 to Brentford. And can I have a bonus point for that, surely?
Yeah, you can have a bonus point for that.
And I need to see at least one of the I'm going to stare you out penalties as well. Because he took one in a practice match or something the other day, which went around social media. Let's move on, Mikey. Sheffield United versus West Ham, the Tevez and Mascherano derby. And we are recording on Tuesday, and I'm watching West Ham on the channel tonight. That game hasn't happened in our reality, but it has in yours. And Mikey knows what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, I've got in my notes, Ben, it's the Sean Bean derby.
Okay.
But at least here we are, what is it, 15, 20 years later, and football's nowhere near as complicated now, is it, Ben, with all of the financial issues and so on.
And he's now Ned Stark to me anyway, so...
West Ham have won their last 3 games against the Blaze without conceding, and start the weekend somehow they're way up in 6th place despite everything. They're missing some big players though, and they're obviously in League Cup action as well. Paquetá and Bowen, FA Cup tonight, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah,
FA Cup
replay
against Bristol City. Yeah, so they're out. They're without Paquetá, they're without Bowen, and Kudus is away on international duty as well. So I think that is 3 huge players for them at the attacking end. Blaze have signed a favourite of yours, Ben Brereton Diaz, to try and get them scoring, and they've made some improvements under Chris Wilder statistically. They're not giving up as many shots to the opposition, and therefore they're not conceding as many goals. So they're giving themselves a chance in games at least. They do concede goals from crosses though, and with James Ward-Prowse, the best crosser in the league in the opposition, they should be careful about that. I can't find a strong argument for either team winning this game. Of all of the players that West Ham are missing and how badly Sheffield United need the points, I'm going for a low-scoring 1-1 draw here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In which case, I'd better go with the team I've covered the most and my lovely relationship with Sheffield United fans and pander to them a little bit. I'll go for a Blades win then. I can't believe I used to refuse.
I think your special relationship with Sheffield United fans is carrying me through a little bit in these predictions, Ben.
Is it? Right, there you go. Can I back them? Yeah, go on then. They're not going to win by much though, are they? Sheffield United 2, West Ham 1. Is that? I feel like I deserve a bonus point for that one as well. But don't worry, it's already taken. We'll move on to a game that finished 9-0, I think, didn't it? Last season, or rather these two opponents. Bournemouth versus Liverpool, league leaders, Liverpool.
Yeah, 2 teams in great shape, Ben. They're at the top of the form table for the last 8 games. They both had really good Decembers and have started the new year well. Bournemouth won this fixture 1-0 last season. I think they must have got hammered in the Anfield game. But they've lost all 9 of their Premier League games against teams starting the day top, conceding 30 goals. But Andoni Iraola has got his side playing great football, and he's really brought the best out in Dominic Solanke, who was the Premier League's December Player of the Month. And he's obviously playing against his old side as well. So I think you might back Dominic Solanke for a goal or 2 in this one. Jurgen Klopp is, of course, without Mo Salah. but they still have the luxury of riches at the attacking end. And I looked up Liverpool's record without Mo Salah, and it was a little bit of a shock to me, Ben. Since he signed for the Reds back in 2017, they've never lost a game without him in the league, winning each of their
Really?
last 4. Yeah,
I was
incredible.
totally had that one
He hasn't
going the
missed
other way.
many though. He hasn't missed many at all, and you think they never rotate him out in the league. And basically, if he's available, he plays. There hasn't been loads of games, but yeah, they've never lost without him. There is a first time for everything, but I fancy Liverpool to win this one 2-1 and strengthen their lead at the top.
Yeah, I'm going to back Liverpool as well. I think 2-1 would have been a nice one, being Bournemouth are going to be more competitive than they were when we first started doing these a few months ago. I'll take out the Bournemouth goal then, Mikey. So I will go Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 2. And finally, not Mikey's favourite team, because Crystal Palace are his favourite team, but it's Brighton versus Wolves. I can't think of a derby. You keep talking and I'll think of one.
Yeah, you think
Chris Uwalumo? Or does he just look a bit like Bobby Zamora? Who definitely played for Brighton, but didn't play for Wolves. Someone will say one in the comments.
Yeah, there's got to be someone out there, haven't they? These are two teams that are they're pretty hard to call. Wolves have overall had an excellent season under Gary O'Neill. He's surprised a lot of people considering how little time he had before the start of the season, I think, and the players that he lost. He's done a remarkable job really up till now. But then now and again they'll just get beaten 3-0 by somebody, and I guess that's just the difficulty of the Premier League, isn't it? But Brighton sort of historically don't have a good record in this fixture, but they've won each of their last 4 games against Wolves. So they've got superiority over them in recent seasons. As I said, they've been hit and miss as well, but they did get their first clean sheet of the season last time out against West Ham. De Zerbi will be hoping that they've stumbled across something at the back there. For Wolves, I think the biggest issue for them is Hwang Hee-chan has been directly involved in almost half of the goals they've scored this season. With him away, he's at the Asia Cup. I think Wolves might struggle a little bit in this one. I'm going for goals. Maybe I am a Brighton fan after all, Ben, because
Is this worth a bonus point?
Yeah, maybe a Danny Welbeck goal in a 3-1 Brighton win.
That's definitely worth a bonus point. I've got good news, Mikey. Wikipedia says in 2004, and this is a complete fluke on my part, Chris Uwalumo went on loan from Stoke to Brighton, played 10 games. So I was actually right, but I can't take any credit for that. He scored 4 goals in 10 games. That's almost Mark Stein levels when he came on loan to Ipswich from Stoke when we were mere young whippersnappers, Mikey. Anyway, I'm procrastinating because I don't know what the hell to call on this one. I think I'll pull out the normal, not sure both teams to score. No one's had a Desmond yet, have they? So let's pull that one out here. Brighton 2, Wolves 2, which will round us out quite nicely. Are you at any games for Premier League this weekend, Mikey?
No, not this weekend. The heart rate's still coming down after Chelsea Fulham last Saturday. But yeah, no games for me this weekend. On to Leicester Ipswich next Monday, which who knows might be a Premier League fixture next season.
Will you stop? And when this recording is finished, Mikey and I will make plans to meet for a beverage because I'm going to be there as well. Absolutely tremendous. But anyway, let's not make everything about Ipswich like we always do. Do get involved down in the comments. Get your predictions in. And remember, if we don't predict your team to win, that doesn't mean we hate them or indeed you by proxy. Now, you might see a YouTuber with millions of subscribers and views a week driving a Bentley. It's a bit more modest, I have to say, when you're covering the Championship. So if you can find a few quid each month to support over on Patreon or by hitting the join button here, you are making the world of difference for myself, Shaylee and Enid.